So 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. I liked it, but it was extreme slow burn. It's extreme slow burn. You're learning the world the entire time. You're experiencing the world the entire time. This is the second book to the Final Strife series. It just continues the Final Strife storyline that starts in the Final Strife. So if you have not read the Final Strife, I would go ahead and read the Final Strife because that was another 5 out of 5. This one, the first one is definitely like dystopian, but it's sci-fi fantasy. This felt post-apocalyptic. Like this second book felt post-apocalyptic, and the cover is just like, I feel like this cover is just a catfish because it's just like a sci-fi like wasteland fantasy with blood magic. These books are so multi-layered, and then after finishing that ending, I messaged Carrie, who was initially the person that I got this recommendation from, and we've been talking about this book for the past couple days, and there's really nothing I can say about this book without spoiling it. I talked more about the Final Strife in the Final Strife review, but this second book has so many things that it builds up to, and it ends up being like this mystery that gets revealed at the very end. So Anur is trying to learn her new position as being a disciple in this kingdom, while Sila is off in other lands trying to find the academy and trying to find how they can help Anur and everybody else on the mainland, because they ended up finding other countries that the mainland didn't know anything about because they were basically like eyes covered. They didn't know that these other lands existed. So Sila's trying to find this academy, and in trying to find this academy, she faces some obstacles, but this was a good, like, if this was a second season of a show, it would be interesting to see how they would make this into real life. Even the first book, if the first book could easily be a season of a show, and the second book could be as well. Bro, reading the second book before the third one is out is just crushing, but I needed to finish this one. It's been picking at me since I started it in January and finished it in January, and then finally April came along and I was like, I'm going to read this book. I also found the paperback edition at Barnes and Noble, so that was another reason, because I was like, let me read this in paperback. But I read this pretty quickly, and I read this mainly on audiobook, so I didn't really touch my paperback versus the Final Strife paperback that was used and abused because I did have to write in the margins as I was getting used to this world. But this second book, the world is already built. You still learn more about this world, and I absolutely love that. But it felt like what you were learning was something that was built upon a concept that you had already learned. So the work was already done for you. And some of the concepts that you did learn, like some new concepts that you did learn, you were like, this is interesting. I want to see where this goes. I think both of these books are like 5 out of 5s. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about both of these books. The first book is definitely hard to get into because it's a lot of world building and you get a lot of it up front and in your face. But the character development is there, and the character development is in this book as well. There were some moments where some characters were doing some things, and I was like, specifically, our baby girl right here, Anur, doing some things, trusting some people that I'm like, I don't know. They're giving me a bad vibe, girl. I don't think you should be trusting that person. But yes, if you can put the Final Strife and Battle Drum on your TBR, I would definitely put these two books on your TBR, because the third book is coming out in September. So then it's going to give you enough to read, because the first book is 500 something pages. The second book is also 500 something pages. So that's like 1,000 pages to read before that third book comes out. I would start right now so that you can be finished by that time that third book comes out, because this did take me a couple days to read. The last one, I think I read it in two parts. I read it the beginning of the month in January, and then I read the second part at the end of the month in January, because it was so much world building. This one I just read straight through. I didn't really stop. I wanted to stop at one point, but then I was like, I feel like this is going somewhere and I don't want to lose this thread. And I'm happy I didn't stop reading this, and I'm happy I didn't book jump, because I was like, I need to get through this book right now. And this was really good to get through. So go ahead and read it.